Before we get into today's video, if you're new, you like the NBA, high school, college, really if you just like basketball in general, I really think that you would like this channel. So if you aren't subscribed, feel free to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever I release a video. I upload at a new daily basis right now, and I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So liking, subscribing, commenting, doing all those things to help me get interactions so YouTube recommends my videos more would be a big help to me, and I'd be really thankful for it. But let's talk about the Atlanta Hawks, and this is the first team I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about all 30 NBA teams and what they need to do for the upcoming season in 2020, 2021, whenever that happens. And we're starting with the Atlanta Hawks, who are an interesting team rebuilding because they were one of the 4 worst teams in the league this year, but they do have a clear-cut franchise player in Trae Young. Trae Young averaged almost 30 points a game and 9 assists per game this year. Got to the line a lot, drawed 9 fouls a game, which is really good for a player this young. Shot almost 60% as a true shooting percentage, which is also impressive for a point guard this young. Of course, we know he's a great playmaker, great ball handler. Does a lot of things like that. Well, one thing I do worry about, though, is the fact that he is very ball dominant. One of the most ball dominant players in the league right now. Only 16.1% of his 2-point field goals are assisted on, and only 29.8% of his 3-point field goals are assisted on. So those are numbers that I think need to go up, become more effective as an off-ball player. I believe that if you're a good shooter, you can be a good off-ball player. It's all about wanting to do it and being told to do it, not, about like you need to improve it. I think that it's something any player that can shoot can do. So I do think that he does need to improve on that. I will talk about how we can improve on him becoming more of an off-ball player later on in the video. But very clear that he is a franchise level player who has potential to be that. Of course, he was an all-star this year, put up all NBA superstar kind of numbers, even though his team was horrible. And the thing is, he's amazing offensively. They're one of the better teams offensively in the league when he's on the court. But they're also like the worst defensive team in the league when he's on the court as well, because he's really bad on defense. Now, part of that is that he does have to carry such a large load on offense. But at the same time, I do think that he needs to at least get to like Steph Curry levels of defense where you're not a negative, but you're also not a positive. Just be a neutral on defense. I do think that he needs to get to that point. I think he has a chance to get to that point if, there's get more guys around him so he doesn't have to carry such a load on offense. Now, moving on to the clear-cut second best player on this team, John Collins. 21.6 points a game, 10.1 rebounds a game, 1.6 blocks a game. Of course, he dealt with the suspension for performance-enhancing drugs this year. But looked really good in the games he played. A good 3-point shooter, shot 40% on 3 attempts. Not taking a lot of threes, but also is, pretty decent. Not necessarily like a stretch big or anything, but he is more than capable of shooting threes based off the amount of volume he shoots at. 66 true shooting percentage, which I think is really good as well. Needs to improve defensively like Trae Young. I think there's a better chance for him to become a really good defensive player than there is for Trae Young because of his athleticism. He has the athleticism to be a good defender. He just isn't a good defender. It has a lot to do with his motor defensively, his awareness and things like that. How curable is that? I don't know. I think that motor is something that you really can't teach. You either have it or you don't. But I do think he's the clear-cut second best player on his team. Clint Capella, good for what he is. Grabs rebounds, runs to the rim, blocks shots, defends the paint, things like that. Not really much to say about him. But I do have a bit to say about Cam Reddish, who I believe has the most potential out of any player on that team outside of Trae Young. And when you look at Cam Reddish, he didn't have a great rookie year. 10.5 points a game, 3.7 rebounds per game, 1.5 assists per game on bad efficiency. Did play better over the last 3 months of the season, though. And one thing, though, despite like him not being great offensively or even really good offensively, pretty good defensive player, which is something that I didn't necessarily expect this early on from him, but it is going to keep him in the league. I do think once he improves his offensive game, which I think he has potential to be a 20 to 25 point per game scorer, he has the tools. I just wonder if it's like, what is it like not being able to be in that role since high school? Like, is being that spot up shooter at Duke and not really getting a chance to be the offensive creator you were in high school and not being able to improve on those skills in games in college, does it affect his development? I think that is something to think about. And if he starts next season like he ended this season, I think he's going to be a very good player, and I think he has potential to overtake John Collins as that second best player. Will be next year, probably not, but I think in 2-3 years, if he keeps on improving, he will be better than John Collins. I think he'll be the clear-cut second best player on that team. But let's talk about, of course, the other first-round pick, DeAndre Hunter, who was the 4th overall pick. I don't know if he was necessarily worth the 4th overall pick. 12.3 points a game, 4.5 rebounds a game, 1.8 assists per game. Solid defensive player. That's what he was known for coming out of Virginia, obviously. Really didn't show a lot of improvement throughout the year. Kind of stayed the same. Like Cam, you saw like massive amounts of improvement like second half of the year. Really didn't see a lot of improvement from DeAndre Hunter. Seems to be like a high floor and low ceiling kind of player. I feel like he's just going to be like a Robert Covington type player, which isn't a bad thing. Would you want that with the 4th pick? I think you would want more out of your 4th overall pick. And I always was a believer that if I held the 4th pick and Cam Reddish and Hunter were on the board, I feel like I would have taken Cam Reddish at 4th overall, and then see what happened with Hunter later. But they did take Hunter 4th overall. Not a bad player. I think he's going to be around for a long time because of his defense. Has to improve offensively. Because I think to be worthy of that 4th overall pick, it has to be more than what I think he is. And I think, again, when you're picking top 4, you're hoping for more than what you got, but it's also not necessarily the worst thing at DeAndre Hunter. And finally, you have Kevin Huerter. Good shooter. Shot 38% from 3 on 6 attempts. Underrated season. 12 points a game, 4 rebounds a game, 4 assists per game. Really good this year. I think he's a solid shooting guard. I don't see him ever becoming more than like, maybe not style or player wise, but like stat wise, I think he's just gonna be like a 15-5-5 guy, like a Nick Batum kind of player. Not necessarily the same playing style, or even really similar playing styles at all, but I do think that Nick Batum numbers are kind of the ceiling. But I do think that he's a really good shooter. Not really the Klay Thompson that some people thought he was going to be, but I think he's going to be a solid player nonetheless for them for a long time. No one else really to talk about in that regard, but let's talk about what they should do. Here's 2 things. If they land the 1st overall pick, or they are in position to land Anthony Edwards, whether that be with the 2nd or 3rd overall pick, they should take him. Because Anthony Edwards can be the other offensive creator on that team, next to Trae Young. I believe this could be the player that makes it so Trae Young plays more off ball, and we see the numbers in his assisted 2-point and 3-point field goal percentages go up. So he's having more plays that are assisted on. So I think that could be something. And also could be a guy that can kind of take the load off of Trae Young and, have it so maybe Trae Young can try to improve defensively. I think Anthony Edwards is the best player in this draft. I think he has potential, kind of like a Zach LaVine type player. I do think he's a bit more potential than Zach LaVine does. I think he's a bit of a step up from his potential, in my opinion. I think he's a bit better than Zach LaVine when it comes to that. But I think they're kind of similar. Just guys who will be 2nd options or 3rd options on true contenders. And I think that if Trae Young's the best player on a contender and reaches his full potential, and Anthony Edwards is the 2nd best player on a contender and reaches his full potential, you really have a team that can compete for titles for the next 10 years. But if they aren't in position to get Anthony Edwards, because they are currently slated to get the 4th pick, the chances of Anthony Edwards falling to the 4th pick aren't that high, because apparently Golden State's really interested in him and they have the best odds. But that's besides the point. I think that they should package that pick if they can't get Edwards. So package that pick, let's say it's like 4th overall. And if they can package that 4th pick and then trade 2 out of the 3 players between Hunter, Reddish, and Herder, try to get Bradley Beal. But if you can't get Bradley Beal, I think you need to go for the hometown kid, Isaac Okoro. He went to Auburn. He played at McEachern with Sharif Cooper in high school. Defensive-minded wing, NBA-ready body. It sounds kind of redundant because, you have DeAndre Hunter, and they kind of drafted DeAndre Hunter to be the same player with the 4th pick as well. But I also do think that it just makes the most sense for them to draft Isaac Okoro. I don't think they should draft James Wiseman. I'm not too high on Wiseman. I don't think that he's as good as other people do. Obi Toppin, that would be like one of the worst picks they could make, in my opinion. He's solid offensively. I don't ever see him become more than a 13-point per game scorer off the bench, and we had the 4th pick. Again, you look for more than that. But again, you can say, but what about Hunter? Okoro. Like, he's not worthy of that 4th pick. I do think that Isaac Okoro has potential to be like an all-around, like all-defensive kind of defender. And if he can impact the game that well for you on defense and be like that Marcus Smart kind of player, where like he's like elite defensively, isn't great offensively, but can be good on offense at times, like Marcus Smart is, I think that's worth the 4th pick, especially in a draft like this that isn't necessarily strong. So, again, if they can't get Edwards, who I believe they would love, and they can't get Beal in a trade, if they have to trade the pick, they can't. I think Okoro is the right pick. Other players to consider would be like LaMelo Ball, although I don't like his fit necessarily with Trae Young. I think that'd be a weird fit. I think they can make it work. If Harden and Westbrook can make it work, I think LaMelo and Trae can make it work. But it would be an awkward fit, and defensively, that's just a nightmare. And Onyeka Okongwu, who I believe is the 3rd best player in this draft, if they could get him, I think that maybe you try to move on from Capella. But you did just trade for Capella, so what are you doing there? Like, it's kind of redundant to trade for Capella and then get Okongwu, even if I think Okongwu has a higher ceiling than Capella does. But I think that really, if they could just if they can't land any of like the top 3 guys in my draft, which are Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, Onyeka Okongwu, or they can't land Isaac Okoro, trade the pick. Try to get Bradley Beal. Try to see if you can get a trade for Zach LaVine. Try and see if you can get a trade for like Devin Booker, which actually, at one point would seem like you probably could. Although I do think that the recent success in Phoenix really has kind of convinced Devin Booker that it isn't as bad as we thought it would be. Of course, we know the drama going on with like Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. How big is that drama? I don't know, but if it is big, maybe you can try to swindle a trade for Donovan Mitchell, using the pick and a few of those Trae Young assets that you have. But overall, they have a great young player. Trae Young's amazing. He's an amazing passer. He's an amazing scorer. Not great defensively, obviously, but he does so many things great offensively that he doesn't need to be great defensively. If I said offensive earlier, that's my fault. But I just think you need to build around him correctly. Get defenders, get shooters, and get another guy that can kind of take the load off of him. And I think once you do that, once you get defenders in, once you get more shooters in, once you guys like Cam Reddish and DeAndre Hunter kind of develop a little bit more, and maybe if you can land Anthony Edwards, the Hawks really will look like they made a young core that can contend in the future. And I really think it would soften the blow a bit on the Luka Doncic Trae Young trade, because as of right now, the Mavs won that trade. The Mavs definitely won that trade. They got the much better player, in my opinion, who's having a much bigger impact on winning basketball to his team. But if they can build a contender around Trae, it can completely soften the blow and kind of equalize that trade out. Because again, it doesn't matter if the Mavs got the better player if you're still able to build a team that could win a title around Trae. So again, that's all I really have to say. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on what you think about the Hawks, where they should go, and who they should pick with the draft pick. And just leave all that in the comment section below. Leave feedback. I don't know what team I'll be doing next. I'm thinking about doing probably Chicago next in this series, so be on the lookout for that. I'm gonna do all 30 teams. We have plenty of time to do all 30 teams, given the amount of time I currently have. But yeah, just have a nice day. If you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much. It means so much to me, guys. You guys don't understand. But again, thank you. Like and subscribe if you're new. Feel free to leave feedback in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys in the next video.